Hello everyone, welcome to a new video for Bitcoin price prediction based on Elliott Wave analysis. This is a deep analysis for Bitcoin. We're gonna dive deeper in the cycles until the micro level, 1 hour, 15-minute chart to see what we have for Bitcoin, what we might expect next. So starting on the all-time history here, where we have an impulse toward the upside here, 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. Finished wave 1, wave 2, 3, 4, and a 5 in the cycles, where we got, of course, a potential wave A or a wave 1 finished. Now, we got, of course, after it, a wave B or a wave 2 over there, and we're looking very likely for a potential wave 2, where we might still expect a wave 3, 4, and a 5 to push toward the upside here for a Bitcoin. Now, basically, I had a question that I still have in mind, of course, in the comment about this wave 2, if it is already short in time or in price. Well, on the logarithmic chart, when you take this logarithmic, this wave 2 is very, very deep, and of course it is already 3 waves towards the downside. And even regarding the time, I know that if this is a 1-2, it's still because of the deep price action. It is very likely that the time, of course, is negligent here, and don't forget the time is a guideline, not a rule. And especially when you get a very, very deep price, you paid already a painful payment, I would say, here with the price. If you remember, of course, from the 70K to the 15K for Bitcoin. So that was, of course, more than enough for a wave 2. Back to the logarithmic, and that means, of course, this wave 2 here is unfolding a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 toward the upside here, where we have, of course, a potential wave 1 finished, wave 2, and we're looking for a massive wave 3 again towards the 200K and above it for Bitcoin to reach, of course, a wave 3 and then 4 and a 5. The wave 3 is $1.618,229, which it might be, of course, $229K at least, which it might be our wave 3, and then having, of course, a 4 and a 5 toward the upside for a wave C. As well, or a wave 3, of course. So we'll see what's going to happen. Both case scenario, of course, wave C or wave 3 are required a 5 waves impulsive towards the upside. Don't forget that what we have right now is a wave 3, and we might have, of course, a wave 3 over 3. Yeah, so we have a double wave 3 here, meaning, of course, this should be the most impulsive and explosive wave for Bitcoin once, of course, we start this push towards the upside and we finish the wave 2. Now, the wave 2, to finish a wave 2 there, we need, of course, a 3 waves. First is as a 3 waves, and normally when you have wave 3 of 3, as explained, you might have, of course, a very shallow wave 2. So far, within this drop for Bitcoin, we did not yet reach even the minimum requirement target for 56K 600 for Bitcoin, meaning we still might get it, of course, but very likely here that we might shift toward the upside in a wave B, a regular flat, A, B, and a C for 56K, and then start the push toward the upside impulsively again for Bitcoin for a wave 3 towards the 200K. Now, in case, of course, that we have a wave 2 a deeper correction, of course, the wave 2 0.618, 0.786 here can be, of course, a deeper correction, and that means, of course, an ABC zigzag might be unfolding over there for a very deep one, and then pushing toward the upside 3, 4, and a 5. So we'll see, of course, how this is going to happen, and yeah, so we'll very likely for the wave 2 here, the most likely scenario is still, because, of course, so far we didn't reach even the minimum target, and we still see only 3 waves down on the micro level. We're gonna see it. It's still very likely that we might have the shallow bear market over there as an A, B, and a C regular flat, or it can be even expanding flat here for a wave C, aggressive wave C after the wave B reaching a new all-time high. And that means, of course, pushing for higher later on. So we'll see how this is going to happen, guys. Let's move to our channeling here. The channeling, of course, is very important regarding an impulse. Since we have, of course, finished our bull run here inside the channeling, perfectly finished, wave 3 breaking the base channel toward the upside, coming back with a wave 4 to the base channel, and then pushing for higher again to reach the acceleration channel one more time for a wave 5. And even, of course, for the final wave 5 of 5, of course, we have finished here potentially a wave 5 that it might be, of course, the wave 1 finished as well at the same time, our bull run. and we're looking for a wave 2 here. So the wave 2, of course, it can be two possibilities. Now, starting with the deep correction, because this base channel is based on the deep correction, in case we have a deep correction. So far, it is not yet confirmed, and that because we still have a 1-2-1-2, and then, of course, a potential wave 3 unfolding here as a 1-2-3-4 and a 5, but we still need an evidence that this will not turn into double 1-2. So if this scenario of double 1-2 is invalidated by taking the low here, that means, of course, once the price comes to this area, okay, very likely to break again the base channel, pushing lower, and of course, the register finally a wave 3 here, and then pushing a wave 4, and then 5, 4, and a 5. We're talking here about the 25, 30, 35K even for Bitcoin as a very deep correction. Meaning, we still need, of course, an evidence that we're going to break this base channel impulsively, because only when you have a broken channel, you can register a wave 3. It confirms that this is a wave 3. Plus, of course, if you take the fib levels, we are at 1-to-1 fib level here. So it's very hard, of course, to consider here something more than 3 waves, a regular flat so far. Basically, this flat where we have an ABC here is, of course, a potential target there as ABC 3 ways. We're still looking for 3 ways toward the upside, as we mentioned in the regular flat, where we might hit between the 0.7 and 0.9. I would say here I have it as 886, but still, of course, very close. 107K, 115K, of course, and around it might be our wave B as a regular flat, and then pushing downward again for a wave C, which it might hit, of course, the minimum requirement 0.38 at 56K. And of course, as a support, technical support here, we have a potential stronghold area that it might start to push toward the upside again. In case we are in a regular flat, so we are looking, of course, for wave B to not reach above the high. In case the regular flat will become an expanding flat, then we are expecting to reach the high 130K, 150K, and then pushing toward the downside in an aggressive wave C. After, of course, trapping everyone that we are pushing towards the 200K, and the things, of course, change the path again for something much more lower. Now, is it like sure that this is gonna be the scenario ABC regular flat or expanding flat? Definitely not. We still have a lot of options where you might have even a wave B, of course, as a triangle, for example, because wave B, it is the most trickiest and the most riskiest, because it can be a triangle, it can be a flat, it can be an expanding flat, it can be anything, it can be a WXNOI, and then, of course, pushing toward the downside as well. So don't forget that this also is a potential scenario here in a triangle that it might be unfolding. So if you want, we can add somehow kind of a path just like that. Yeah, here we go. So this also can be a possibility for a triangle there. We're gonna leave this, so from now on we can remind you also that with this possibility as a triangle for a regular flat, okay, in a wave B, meaning the wave B might even not reach, of course, this area. It can be simply a triangle here, and then pushing, of course, toward the downside. So we'll see, of course, how this is going to unfold as a shallow bear market. Now, as a deep bear market, back to this one, of course, we are required a wave 3 to be finished and done. So far, we are only at 1-to-1 fib level. So if we take here the fib level taken from the top here to the wave B, you can see exactly we are at 1-to-1, which makes it, of course, an ABC so far, and potentially looking for something toward the upside, unless, of course, this is a double 1-2, especially that this is, of course, a 1-2-3-4 and a 5 expanding diagonal, wave 4 interfering with the zone 1, plus, of course, this impulse 1-2-3-4 and a 5. Wave 3 is the shortest between the 1 and the 5, which is not allowed, making it, of course, a zigzag, and very likely we are in zigzags internally for an expanding diagonal, which makes it, of course, a wave 1, because wave 3 is not allowed to be an expanding diagonal, only an impulse, and it should be a very nice clean impulse. 1-2-1-2, and we're looking for a wave 3. This wave 3 might still be unfolding as a 1-2-3-4 and a 5. However, more evidence is required there, and of course to break, of course, the 1-double-1-2 that we have here in validation, and then of course we claim something very, very deep for Bitcoin. Yep, so this is regarding the deep analysis. Still, of course, lower possibility than the shallow bear market, guys. Yeah, still a lower possibility so far. And I'm going to explain this also on the 2 hours chart here, 2 hours. So for the 2 hours chart here, we are looking also at our very, very complex structure here, but it can be also at the same time a large one too. You have an expanding diagonal. This is exactly what we expected since 2 weeks, an expanding diagonal, which is a most rare case scenario. It was hard for you guys to believe me with it. I understand this because it's very rare, very, very rare to predict an expanding diagonal. But this is my first time anyway on the channel, and of course because I had no other choice, and this was the case. So basically this expanding diagonal is a wave 1 here, and then of course a wave 2 might be unfolding here as an ABC towards the downside. As an AB and a C still of course has a possibility here for bullish again inside this area between 67-65K. And that means, of course, it might still turn a double 1-2, large 1-2s, and then pushing towards the upside for a bull run. Now, why we think, of course, of an ABC and not directly toward the upside? Well, because we have registered already an impulse on the 1 hour chart. So we have already kind of like a 1-2, and potentially this wave 2 can be here as a W, X, and a wave Y here. Somehow the wave Y is a triangle to register 1-2, and then wave 3, 4, and a 5. Now, after this wave 5, we saw, of course, something as 5 waves up. It can be leading diagonal, or even it can be internally an A, B, and a C, W, X, and Y. It is something, of course, I would say much more closer to a leading diagonal since we registered 5 waves. So you took the high here, you push down, you took the high again, 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. All of them looks like zigzags. Yeah, so basically it looks like a leading diagonal. It can be a wave A B, and a C, which I'm still looking for it here to finish, of course, a wave B over there as 1-to-1, or a wave 2. And that means, of course, there is a lot of differences here in case we are in a wave B or a wave 2. That means A, B, and a C, of course, 1-to-1 Fib level in confluence within this area, 0.38 and 0.5. So 71, 72K is a very, very likely for Bitcoin to reach again, of course, before we drop down in a wave a C, which it might be, of course, an A, B, and a C, since we have an impulse, a zigzag. And that means, of course, it opens the scenario for a potential bullish scenario. However, what would be much more evident is that a wave B just stays exactly there, meaning is this wave B there that we're talking about here, if we don't reach the high here and it stays that below the 0.38, that is very likely to be in a wave B, meaning we are in a blitz zigzag here, meaning of course a very fast shallow wave B, 0.23, and then we push a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 toward the downside. If this happens, this makes it much more bullish. And that makes it, of course, that we are clearly in a wave B, blitz there as a wave 2, and then we push toward the upside in a wave 3. Or, yeah, wave 3. It's going to be a 1, 2. Yeah, so this is what I'm expecting, but we'll see. I mean, internally on the 15-minute chart, we are here in potential double 1, 2. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, or let's say 1, 2, and then wave 3. And this is a correction, of course, a very clear correction sideways is a wave 4. We're looking for a wave 5, and that means, of course, that this wave 5 still might take the 0.23 at least as 1-to-1 Fib level. Yep, so this makes it then wave 2. Yep, so that was it for Bitcoin, the deep analysis. Before you leave, make sure to join our private Discord community. There you will get daily updates faster than YouTube, plus exclusive bonus trading signals for the gold, silver, Bitcoin, and stocks. You can also request one special technical analysis every day and get access even to our only members video on YouTube and also on Discord. and stay ahead, of course, with economic and political news that actually moves the market. And of course, we do regular Q&A sessions, so you can get your questions answered directly in the Discord. And of course, if you're serious about leveling your trading, the Discord link is below in the description and in the comments. Thank you for watching. Thank you for your likes and comments, and see you in the next one. Bye bye.